Hi, Mr. Morton. So, say hi, Jasmine.
Hi, Mr. Morton.
So, I'll be telling Jasmine right now, but
You're not doing your homework.
no. So, I'm gonna talk about invertebrates and certain types of categories of invertebrates. So, be quiet, Jasmine. So, let's start out with cnidarians. So, I
Okay.
so I chose sea anemone or Actiniaria as a good example of an cnidarian. They're found throughout the world's all the world's oceans, but they're mostly found in coastal tropical waters, and they usually attach themselves on the rocks on the sea bottom or on coral reefs, and they usually feed off of green algae or small fish, and they also receive the byproducts of oxygen and sulfur from these green algae. And an interesting fact about cnidarians is that their tentacles are triggered by touch, and their tentacles are boneless because they're obviously invertebrates. And this triggers a deadly like toxin into their victim, and then this like paralyzes them with a new neurotoxin, and they're then able to like eat them. Going on to flatworms. So I chose tapeworms or testoda as a good example of a flatworm, and these worms are found in the digestive tract of humans who have consumed under conditions of poor hygiene or undercooked meat. So it's a bacteria. It starts off being consumed into the host's body. It 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 lives off the it lives off of the nutrients of the host, so it attaches onto it attaches itself into your digestive system, and absorbs the nutrients of what you're supposed to be getting. And flatworms have both male and female parts, reproducing parts in their body, meaning that they can reproduce quickly, and they can grow to be as long as the picture there. As you can see, they're really like flat and skinny, hence flatworms. Um, Going on to true worms, and that's a really gross picture right there, and it kind of freaked me out when I Google searched it. And it's an earthworm or Lumbricus terrestris, and it's a common European worm, and that's usually found in rich agricultural soils or in gardens. It eats and decomposes dead material and puts it back into the soil. and the common earthworm, it usually comes to the surface to feed, as opposed to burrowing into the soil to find its food, as most other like true worms do, which can make it vulnerable, but also well, yeah, it just makes it very vulnerable. Mollusks. So I chose the brown garter snail or Cornu aspersa as an example of a mollusk, and it can basically live anywhere with an undisturbed habitat with an adequate moisture, and that's important because, as you will see, the mollusk relies on secreting the slimy gland that helps it move. So yeah, and it eats organic matter in the soil, bark from trees, just any type of vegetation basically. Um, as I said before, it moves in a gliding motion with with a pretty much like muscular organ called a foot, which is also its mouth. But it basically just gives a snail locomotive ability, and yeah, and the shell gives us obvious safety for the actual like flesh of the mollusk is quite um quite fragile and echinoderms. So I picked sea urchin or Nicodia as an example. They live on the rocky seafloor from various different depths, and kelp, decaying matter. They eat kelp, decaying matter, algae, dead fish, sponges, mussels, and barnacles. So they can eat a variety of these species because they uh, they have access to them. One they have access to them on the floor of the ocean, but also because they are so well protected to um, eat these variety of things. And oh, I didn't write it here. Whoops. But an interesting fact about sea urchin is that obviously, although it is an invertebrate, it does have these spine-like thorns that give it safety, give it protection from the inside, and obviously help the organism survive. So it's a big adaptation for the sea urchin. And that is all. So thank you. Jasmine, say bye.
Bye bye.
Okay. Bye, Mr. Morton. Wait, how do I end this?